Hello, good evening, and welcome to Off Track Small Talk. This evening, we're going to chat into number 73, Chris Cowley. Good evening, Chris.
Good evening.
I'm liking your fruit display over your top right-hand shoulder.
Thank you very much. I'm glad you said my fruit display over my right shoulder and not the one.
We're going to talk to you this evening because your Tarmac car for 2022 has gone under a massive refurbishment, and we're going to talk about that shortly. But first, if we go back to 2021, we spoke pretty much this time last year. You got a new shell car from Matt Newson. We were all excited, fantastic, and then we went to Bradford.
Yeah, I had a fantastic day that day. It was just one of those things, it could have happened to anybody. No one expected it. We all went there, the crowd, the drivers, the mechanics, excited to be back. And it was just one of those meetings that weren't just sort of meant to be for myself. In the 20 years that I've been racing, I've never rolled over. And we've, I've been on my side, but never proper barrel rolled. And we've done that in the heat. And trouble is, we looked at the car, thought, well, we've come all this way, and it didn't really have a lot of damage apart from the wings. So I thought, we'll go out. Yeah, finished it off then.
Yeah. One of my abiding images of that Bradford meeting was because obviously the car came off the track, and it was sort of at the top of the pit road, and it was just kind of sat there all meeting, just very forlornly, and it was just it sticks in my mind. I can see it very clearly now. It did look worse for wear.
Yeah, there wasn't. I mean, to be fair, I think with it being new, it held up pretty well, really. Obviously, if it had been a bit older, I think the chassis would have probably took a tweak. But, the chassis legs, to be fair, was dead straight afterwards. And I think that was the straightest thing on the car. It was just one of the. We went in and everyone else coming behind me, and young JJ landed on top of me. And, it was just, I don't think we could have done it again if we'd have tried to get the tangle that we got in. But, it weren't very good.
How long did it take you from sort of that Bradford meeting to get it back out again last year? Because I can't quite remember.
Well, we couldn't even get it in the bus after it got dragged up the lane with two tractors.
Yeah.
And we sat at the back of the bus, and we couldn't even get it in. So luckily, Matt had a big trailer on his big flatbed trailer there with him. So it got forklifted onto the back of that, and it went to Matt's. But it took a little while. I think it was 2 months. I think it was until we got it back out again. It done a lot of damage, really. And we could have got it out, I think, quicker. But what's the point? It needed to be right when it come back, and I think for myself as well, mentally, I needed to be right getting back in it. It looked all well and good, but I can assure you that hurt. That did.
Right. Okay.
I think I needed to be right, and then 2 months later we got it back out, and we was at Bradford again.
Yeah.
And but I'm glad that we went to Bradford with it when I got it back for the first time. I think that heat, I weren't very comfortable in the car. I won't lie. Nothing to do with the seating or anything. It was just sort of and it's not so much the pain barrier that don't really bother me. It's more the financial side, and what everything costs, and just to get to the track, never mind repairing it.
Yeah.
So it was. But once we finished the meeting, I did 3 races and finished them all, and I was a lot more comfortable at the end of it, and it was all right after that.
So thinking about the shale season, then, did it? Obviously, it got better after that first meeting. Were you happy with the car throughout the year?
Yeah, we tried a lot of different things, to be honest with you. So we just really wrote the year off. So we just decided to just try different setups because we thought, well, it's a perfect time now, and let's just concentrate for 2022. We learned a lot, really, with the car, because it's a hell of a different car to what I've ever had before. Different suspension, engines sort of 8 inches further back than what my old trail car were, so it's completely different to drive. And we just played about with it, but I think we went under the radar a little bit, really, because we weren't doing a lot with it. But sort of within our team, we were doing a lot of work, you know, a lot of pen to paper, you know, and we learnt a lot. And I think we're in good stead for the start of this year with it.
Yeah, that's good though, to have like that learning season, so then you can almost go again, fresh start 2022.
Yeah. Oh, I'm hoping so. It can't be really any worse than the start of last year. So.
No, it cannot. It cannot. So let's sort of switch to Tarmac then. A decent season on Tarmac, or not so much?
No, not really. The soon after the Bradford incident, we was at Skegness, and yeah, my own fault really. We sort of ended 2019 on a real high with the Tarmac car. It was going really well. We just won the final over in Venray with it on the Saturday night. And we felt like, you know, I neglected it a bit, really. I just thought, oh, you know, it'll be all right. It went well on the last race. You know, we went through the car, don't get me wrong, you know, your nut and bolt check and checking your rose joints and new oil and pads and what have you. But other than that, I didn't really change anything. I think what happened were, you know, not a new drivers come in and really good kit, and time always goes forward, and they just, a lot of cars improved and we didn't. We were just sort of sat sandbagging really, and we were just caught sort of in amongst the emotions of it, and we just didn't get going. And it sort of took to the end of the year really for the car to start showing a bit of improvement. But yeah,
It's interesting you say that because, you know, obviously been up to John Runn's and we were talking about Tarmac racing, and he was saying that actually, you know, if you just kind of have a season off from racing Tarmac, then everything's moved on so significantly. You are just left behind. You've got to kind of do it and be on it. That's a week in, week out with it. Otherwise, you just nowhere.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't see that, I don't think, as a spectator. I mean, you probably look at Tom Harris's car, the majority of people, and think, well, you know, it's still white from when he first built it. Nothing's changed. But I can assure you, Tom will be doing a lot of work on that car constantly, week in, week out, always looking for an improvement.
Yeah.
Changing it. And Ryan Harrison's the same, you know, Frank and Lee Fairhurst, they're all doing the same. They're all trying that extra bit to get that extra bit out of the car. So no one's ever sitting still. So yeah, we got sort of like just a little bit caught out, I think, really with that. We knew what the changes we wanted to make last year, but it was quite significant. So we couldn't really, with the meetings how they were coming, really spend a lot of time on it. Otherwise, it would have meant sort of sacrificing not racing.
Yeah.
We sort of made the best out of it that we could for the semi, and luckily it got us through. And then we decided that we were going to just do the qualifying rounds at the end of the year to sort of leapfrog us up the table for the start of this year, which has sort of benefited us. I think we're in the top 10, so going into the start of this year, which is good. But yeah, it's had an operation.
Yeah, so that's kind of the sort of the main focal point of our conversation, I guess. So have you kind of pretty much started again with your Tarmac car? Is that kind of in sort of layman terms?
Yeah, pretty much. We basically started chopping a little bit off, and then a little bit become a lot, and then we were left with just 2 chassis legs, a roll cage, and a little bit of sump guard, and that was it. No shocker brackets, no pickup points for the suspension. We chopped a lot off, and yeah, we just decided to start again. And a lot of it's all our own ideas. A lot of it's from stuff that we've had a look round on other cars and sort of picked bits off other designs that we quite like, but you know, we're sort of putting them together as our own. And you know, you just got to try. At the end of the day, I want to be, when I go racing for myself, for the team, I want to be fast. And the only way you're going to do that is by trying something different and trying to move on with the sport and the technology. So yeah, I think well, it looks good. If it goes as fast as is what it looks, then we'll be all right.
So in all intents and purposes, then, is it almost like a brand new car? Is that kind of how you could look at it?
You won't recognise it when it comes out. It's completely different. Completely different. Everything's different. Yeah, it looks completely different. There's nothing on there that's recognisable from what it was before. Yeah, I think it's basically, other than, like you say, the main part of the chassis, it is a brand new car. So
normally at this point, when we do these sort of off-track small sort of ones, we kind of go right over to Chris and I'd like you to reveal your car for us, and we do beautiful pictures and Jordan puts music to it. But we're not going to do that tonight. We're going to encourage people to go to your first Tarmac meeting to see the car in flesh.
Yes, yeah, it's not quite ready yet to be shown. It has been sign written, but unfortunately the panels have all been taken off. There's bits of it gone for lacquering, and there's other bits that are still with the car. But to be honest with you, we've not even built the car up yet. It's still not got an axle under it. We're waiting for bits for the engine to come from America, which seem to be taking a little bit longer than what we hoped. So I don't think we're going to be doing the Hennisford, which is a shame really, because obviously it's probably our only local track to me now. But yeah, you know, when it comes out, it'll be ready. You know, we're not just going to throw it together. We've done all this work over the winter to make it right, and you know, we're going to probably go and do a little bit of practicing with it, and yeah, when we come out, it'll be ready.
Lovely. And in terms of 2022, you know, we've talked about the shell car. You're happy with that? Are you setting yourselves any kind of goals, targets, aspirations for the forthcoming season?
I just want to be as competitive as I possibly can, really, to be honest. I'm not right bothered about sort of setting myself targets as in we've got to do this and we've got to do that, you know, because I think you put pressure on yourself then, and you can also stop enjoying it. Yeah. You know, obviously stock car racing, it's a family thing. The whole reason for doing stock cars is for the enjoyment. So we don't want to be losing that, but I just want to be as quick as I possibly can. And if as long as I come off that track and my team are happy and I'm happy, and I come off thinking every time do you know what, I couldn't have done any better or tried any harder, then yeah, I'll be happy with that.
Good, brilliant. We were talking to your good friend Paul Hines the other evening, and you can Paul Hines 259.
Oh, okay. I think he fitted some windows here.
Oh, did he? Yeah. Well,
if he did, can you tell him to come back because they're leaking?
Well, he'll watch this because he'll want to know what you say about him. So yeah, he'll do that. I'm sure around Monday morning. But we were talking with Paul about kind of sort of the future of the sport, and saying that there's lots of people coming into stock car racing this year from various other formulas. It's looking really, really healthy, and from a kind of promoting it point of view, there's the likes of yourself and Paul that kind of really get it and know that it's about engaging with the fans, and it's the fans are sort of the lifeblood of the future, aren't they? We need them to kind of come along, and we need to engage them, and you and Paul are both advocates of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Without the fans, we haven't got a sport. It's as simple as that. You know, the promoters wouldn't open the gates, and we wouldn't have a sport to go and to showcase, really. So yeah, it's 100% all about the fans. You know, the rivalries, the entertainment. You know, you've got to make them feel part of it. And you know, some people might think I look a bit daft when I do me parade laps and what have you, but you know, I like to engage with the fans. I like to engage the fact that or acknowledge the fact that, you know, they've come and, you know, they've spent a lot of money just getting to the stadium with the fuel, and never mind tickets, you know, pie and a pint once they're in as well, and sweets for the kids. You know, you've got to make an effort with them. I see so many drivers that are straight faced, and you know, they don't really engage, and I don't think that's just how they are, you know, their personality. But I like to just try and, you know, always go that extra mile, I think, for them, and just try and, you know, make them feel part of it, really. And if they can go away talking about it, then fantastic. A little bit similar to that first Bradford, really. You know, I was hurting a little bit, but we still found time for me and Finn Sargent to have a little bit of a game of rugby across the pitch, and you know, I think we got the biggest cheer of the night with that. You've just got to try and do something, I think, sometimes, and think outside the box, and just give them something to remember.
I do think, though, as a sport, I think drivers are getting more in tune to that they need to do more to kind of help it grow and survive. I do think there's kind of a bit of a sea change.
Yeah, I hope so. I certainly see it more in our formula than other formulas, to be honest with you. I think the Formula One, certainly the following that it gets, I think I think we're doing good as a sport and as a formula. I just hope it continues for as long as possible.
I asked Paul why he thought so many people were wanting to come into Formula One this year, and he didn't really, he had some views and opinions. So I guess a similar question to yourself, because there is, I've got a list of drivers that we're going to speak to over the coming days. They're all coming into Formula One this year, from V8s, minis, saloons. There seems like a real surge in 2022.
Yeah, I think Formula One is sort of something to tick off on the bucket list, isn't it? You speak to many drivers, saloons or F2s. 99% of them say they'd love to do Formula One. They just don't have the space or the funds to do it. So I think with how the times that we live in, unfortunately, I would say that our sport is probably limited to the years that it's got ahead of it because of electric and one thing or another, and stadiums disappearing. So I just think a lot of people are thinking that it's now or never, really, and they want to get involved with it, which is great. I think it is a fantastic sport to be involved with. I love it. I've been involved with it since I was born, and there's not one year that's ever gone by from when I was a kid growing up to now where I wish that I weren't part of it. I think it's fantastic, and I love every bit of it.
Brilliant. Thanks, Chris. And first meeting of the season for you, obviously Tarmac's away. So when are we sort of earmarking a Shale debut?
Kings Lynn, 19th, we'll be there. The Shale car, I've sort of obviously learnt a little bit from my Tarmac experience at the start of last year. We've not neglected that. It's not had just as much work as the Tarmac car, but it has had, it's been looked after. Yeah. We've just had the bus serviced as well, and we've just picked that up recently. So yeah, all systems go. So yeah, 19th of March, we're going to be there, and hopefully we're going to be starting off better than last year. And
yeah,
gas.
I guess it's a daft question, but has it been a long winter, and are you looking forward to getting back on track?
Yeah. To be honest with you, it feels like it's dragged, and then it got mentioned to me the other day, you've only got a couple of weeks to your race, and you think, God, I could do with another couple of months really till we're ready, but we'll be ready. It's just one of them things. But I've enjoyed my winter. I've enjoyed the break and time off. We've had a great Christmas. I think with it being in lockdown the previous years, it's made this one a bit better, and with the young kids, and they've had a good time, and we've sort of we've tried to do things outside of meeting up with other drivers throughout the winter period as well. I introduced Paul Hines to his first ever curry during the winter, which was
Did you?
So,
how did that go? Did you enjoy it?
Well, it was funny because we hadn't really we didn't really know that he'd never had a curry before. I did invite him around here, but he weren't allowed. He said his mum said I was too much trouble, so she had to drop him off at the curry house and told him he had to be out by 10. So we didn't really have too long in there, to be honest, as long as we liked. But we all sat down and said, it was me, Sergeant Paul Hines, and what we having? So should we have some poppadoms? And he was just like, yeah. What's them? So he was taking the mick, and he didn't have a clue. And he was the only bloke that I've ever seen eat a poppadom plain. Giving him mango chutney and other bits and bobs, and he thought, "Oh no, I don't want none of that." He says. So he just had a Diet Coke and a plain poppadom, and then we ordered our mains. I think I had a chicken jalfrezi, something like that. And he asked for a chicken. He asked for a chicken korma with chips. And so, of course, we looked at the guy, and I said, "Oh, he's a bit of a curry virgin." So I said, "Don't frown upon him." But then Paul asked for extra sauce, and the bloke just looked at him and went, "You what?" He said, "It's a sauce dish." And he goes, "Yeah, but I want more sauce." And the bloke went, "Right," and we went, just bring him a korma, it's fine. It's really funny. And then of course this come out on his plate, and it come out in front of him, and he got his knife and fork, went right, and he almost just froze, and he just looked at it, and I was just like, don't worry, it's not going to hurt you. And yeah, I just had to spoon feed it him, bless him. But yeah, it was quite amusing, really.
It certainly sounds like the highlight of your winter. It is
brilliant. It was brilliant. Honestly, me and Paul Hines have come a long way. Years ago, we didn't like each other at all. It was just, I suppose, rivalry really. When my dad was out racing, between him and my father, and as a young kid, you take it to heart a little bit. But when you grow up, you realise it's just part of it. And yeah, it's just we're really good friends now, to be honest, and we speak most weeks. And yeah, he's a cracking bloke. But yeah, it was emotional to share his first koi with him. I tried to force a little bit of a beer down his neck, but that was too much. So he said I would, but obviously with his mum picking him up, he didn't want to get in any bother. So
no, you were sensible with him, which is not. Are you going to go for a curry again with him? Do you think, or
I think
just
so,
one?
Yeah, he said he'd like to do it again. So good. I just said, well, let us know when you're allowed, and we'll arrange something.
Yeah, so 6 o'clock till 9:30. That'd be all right, wouldn't it, for him? Yeah.
Depends if it's a school night. Probably not.
No.
Yeah, probably have to be a Friday. I wouldn't imagine he'd be allowed to do it on a Monday to Thursday.
No, it's very unlikely. But no, a great story, Chris. Thank you so much for sharing. Listen, thank you for taking time out this evening to talk to us. Good luck getting the Tarmac car finished, and we'll see you at Kings Lynn in what is just over a week away.
Yeah, you certainly will. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Chris.
Cheers, thank you.